तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना। We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and the conversations pertain to Wednesday, June 25, 1884, and in that the main is talk with Pandit Shashadhar. And Thakur is telling him that lectures will not do anything unless you receive the badge of authority from God. And then he asks him, have you received that badge? And he said, no, I have not received any such commission. The host told that he may not have received commission, but he is doing it in a sense of duty. Thakur ignored that and went on telling that it is useless to give lectures unless you receive that commission. And that he says, therefore, I say to you, dive deep in God consciousness. And he continued, by diving deep, you will not die, because it is the ocean of immortality. Therefore, I say unto you, dive into the ocean of Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, imagined as an ocean. Nothing will ever worry you if you but realize God. Then you will get his commission to teach people. So he has laid out a full path to him. Dive deep, you will realize God, and then you will get the commission to preach. So that is a very clear mandate. Now, from there we continue. There are innumerable pathways leading to the ocean of immortality. She is putting before Shashadhar and before all of us that paths are innumerable. You can choose any path you like. But first realize. That is more important. To follow some path and realize God is more important. And then you will get your commission definitely, if you realize God. The essential thing is to reach the ocean. It doesn't matter which path you follow. So that is Thakur's Catholicity. He is so liberal because that he has realized himself. Jato Matato Path. All faiths are but paths. So it's like you choose any. Imagine that there is a reservoir containing the elixir of immortality, you will be immortal if a few drops of the elixir somehow get into your mouth. So now, another idea is there. Huh? Dive deep till you realize. Now, in the realization, there may be deeper and deeper levels. But if you just get a touch of realization, that is sufficient. And you will get the commission. You may, now another way, huh? Aha. You may get into the reservoir either by jumping into it or by being pushed into it from behind by the Guru, huh? Or by slowly walking down the steps. The effect is one and the same. So, physical description of the path, going fast, going slow, being pushed by somebody else, somehow realize that. So we see that sometimes a Mahapurush may push you into it. That is also sufficient. You will become immortal by tasting a drop of that elixir. This is repeated. Innumerable are the ways that lead to God. There are the paths of jnana, of karma, and of bhakti. Innumerable are the paths, but grouped into three. Because suppose we combine and harmonize, then you can have little jnana, more bhakti, so innumerable you will get. If you are sincere, you will attain God in the end, whichever path you follow. So this Shashadhar matter, we are getting a full description of everything. Roughly speaking, there are three kinds of yoga: Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. We think that Raj Yoga is not mentioned. He has included that in Karma Yoga because they are doing something physically. He describes that. You are doing pranayama, this or that. Actually, Karma Yoga and Raj Yoga are same level. You are doing something. So, we get a new light, you may say. He has not excluded Raja Yoga, but he has included in Karma Yoga. That is in the Gita. Gita's 6th chapter is on meditation. And that is taken as a part of the Karma 6 chapters. He is describing, huh? Roughly speaking, there are three kinds of yoga: Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. What is Jnana Yoga? Full description we are getting here. The Jnani seeks to realize Brahman. He discriminates, saying, not this, not this. Not this, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. He discriminates, saying, Brahman is real and the universe illusory. He discriminates between the real and the unreal. As he comes to the end of discrimination, he goes into samadhi and attains the knowledge of Brahman. So this discrimination means rejection, negation. And negation ends into samadhi. Because the world is negated, you are a part of the world, you are negated, what remains? Only Brahman. This is what we learn in the Mandukya Upanishad. Pratisheda Vigyan, Shankaracharya says. The negation generates an experience. It's a clear picture. As he comes to the end of discrimination, he goes into samadhi and attains the knowledge of Brahman. In 2-3 lines he has described Jnana Yoga. Discrimination, not this, end of discrimination, samadhi. What is Karma Yoga? Its aim is to fix one's mind on God by means of work. So, aim is to fix one's mind on God. It is a positive science, you may say, not this, not this. It is fixing the mind on God. We are not thinking of the reality and reality of the world. We are fixing the mind on God. Karma Yoga. That is what you are teaching. Because we already seen that Karma Kanda he was explaining through science. So Thakur knows that. Thakur said that is what you are teaching. It consists of breath control, you see, concentration, meditation, and so on. Karma Yoga. Done in a spirit of detachment. So this also has to be done in a spirit of detachment. If a householder performs his duties in the world in a spirit of detachment, surrendering the results to God and with devotion to God in his heart, so essential parts of, you call Raja Yoga or Karma Yoga or anything. Essential parts are giving the results to God with devotion to God in his heart. Duties in the world in a spirit of detachment, surrendering the results to God and devotion to God in his heart. So love is there also, but action is more. He too may be said to practice Karma Yoga. That means one type of Karma Yoga, concentration meditation. One type of Karma Yoga, householder doing his duty with detachment, devotion to God, and giving results to God. He too may be said to practice Karma Yoga. Clear? Two types of that Karma Yoga. Further, if a person performs worship, japa, and other forms of devotion, surrendering the results to God, he may be said to practice Karma Yoga. So, 3 aspects of Karma Yoga are shown. Duties in the world with love of God. Concentration, meditation, spirit of detachment. And puja and those types of works also are Karma Yoga. So, Vidhi Bhakti is Karma Yoga only. And the aim is to fix the mind on God. I don't think you'll get a better description anywhere. Attainment of God alone is the aim of Karma Yoga, not karma itself, but attainment of God by concentrating on God. What is Bhakti Yoga? It is to keep the mind on God by chanting His name and glories. इसमें था worship, japa and other forms of devotion. इसमें है by chanting His name and glories. नाम गुणगान. For the Kali Yuga, the path of devotion is easiest. This is indeed the path for this age. He described very well that Vedic karmas are difficult. The path of karma is very difficult. First of all, as I have just said, where will one find the time for it nowadays? Where is the time for a man to perform his duties as enjoined in the scriptures? Man's life is short in this age. Further, that means the span of life itself has reduced. Further, it is extremely difficult to perform one's duties in a spirit of detachment without craving the result. One cannot work in such a spirit without first having realized God. Look. So if you have realized God, everything is without detachment, without attachment, without detachment. Otherwise, it's difficult. Attachment to the result somehow enters the mind, though you may not be aware of it. ठीक है कर्म yoga clarified. To follow Jnana Yoga in this age is also very difficult. First, a man's life depends entirely on food. So Neti Neti is not going to help him. Second, he has a short span of life. Third, he can by no means get rid of body consciousness. And the knowledge of Brahman is impossible without the destruction of body consciousness. The Jnani says, I am Brahman, I am not the body. I am beyond hunger and thirst, disease and grief, birth and death, pleasure and pain. How can you be a Jnani if you are conscious of disease, grief, pain, pleasure, and the like? So negation has to be total. A thorn enters your flesh, blood flows from the wound, and you suffer very badly from the pain. But nevertheless, if you are a jnani, you must be able to say, why? There is no thorn in my flesh at all. Nothing is the matter with me. So negation has been clarified. Everything negated. Pain is there, but can you negate that? Body consciousness. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga is prescribed for this age. By following this path, one comes to God more easily than by following the others. This is all that Gita 12th chapter beginning. One can undoubtedly reach God by following the paths of jnana and karma. He does not deny. Undoubtedly you can do that, but difficult. But they are very difficult paths. Jnana difficult because body conscious does not go. And karma difficult because somehow the expectation of fruit enters. Bhakti Yoga is the religion for this age, but that does not mean that the lover of God will reach one goal and the philosopher and worker another. So this path end is same for all paths. So they will also reach. All this is almost translation of Gita 12th chapter. It means that if a person seeks the knowledge of Brahman, he can attain it by following the path of bhakti too. So Sagun will automatically lead to Nirgun if you desire. God who loves his devotee can give him the knowledge of Brahman if he so desires. If God desires, he will give you, even if you seek or not seek. But the Bhakta wants to realize the personal God, endowed with form, and talk to him. So, intimacy with God is what Bhakta proposes. God is with form, and personal God means Sagun Brahma. With form means Sakar. And intimacy is shown by talking with him. He seldom seeks the knowledge of Brahman, but God, who does everything at his pleasure, can make his devotee the heir to his infinite glories if it pleases him. Thakur has given an example somewhere that the master is pleased on the servant and he asks him, sit by my side. He contracts, but he makes him sit. So, will of God, grace of God. He gives his devotee both the love of God and the knowledge of Brahman. So, love will not go, but the knowledge also is given. If one is able somehow to reach Calcutta, one can see the Maidan and the museum and other places too. The thing is how to reach Calcutta. Sagun Brahma, personal God. By realizing the Divine Mother, no, he has changed the name. Personal God, Sri Ramakrishna calls it Divine Mother. By realizing the Divine Mother, so comprehensive, many times she got but here fully to that Pandit Shashadhar. By realizing the Divine Mother of the universe, you will get knowledge as well as devotion. If you realize, your consciousness will change. You will get both. In Bhav Samadhi, you will see the form of God, and in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you will realize Brahman, the absolute existence, knowledge, bliss. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, ego, name and form do not exist. Beyond names and form, beyond ego. I, a lover of God, prays to the Divine Mother, O Mother, I am very much afraid of selfish actions. Bhakti Yoga Sikh. Such actions have desires behind them. And if I perform them, I shall have to reap their fruit. But it is very difficult to work in a detached spirit. This prayer, I shall certainly forget thee, O Mother, if I involve myself in selfish action. Therefore, I have no use for them. May my actions, O Divine Mother, be fewer every day till I attain thee. After attaining thee, whatever can be done. May I perform without attachment to the results only what action is absolutely necessary for me. Shariram kevalam karma naivapnoti kilvisham. Some actions are necessary. Eating, drinking, breathing, cleaning body. Very clear. Thakur has done everything and is very clear. May I have great love for thee, as I go on with my few duties. May I not entangle myself in new work as long as I do not realize thee. How clear? But I shall perform it if I receive thy command, otherwise not. So that is work done as an instrument of God, otherwise not. Priceless words, you may say, Pandit. Now, Pandit, some digression is giving. How far did you go in visiting the sacred places? How this is related to the talk? Master, oh, I visited a few places with a smile. But Hazara went further and also climbed higher. He visited Rishikesh, but I didn't go so far or so high. You must have noticed kites, so he brings this. Cancel all that thing, huh? You must have noticed kites and vultures soaring very high in the sky, but their eyes are always fixed on the charnel pits. Do you know the meaning of charnel pits? It is woman and go. What is the use of making pilgrimage? Now he hits directly. Huh? If you can attain love of God remaining where you are, see, comes back to his proposal, love of God. I have been to Banaras, now the answer. Huh? I have been to Banaras and noticed the same trees there as here, the same green tamarind leaves. So by going to pilgrimage, what is happening? Unless you have love for God. Pilgrimage becomes futile if it does not enable you to attain love of God. See, pilgrimage gives you love of God, it is all right. Love of God is the one essential and necessary thing. Do you know the meaning of kites and vultures? He has used these. There are many people who talk big and who say that they perform most of the duties enjoined in the scriptures, but with all their minds, but with all that, their minds are engrossed in worldliness and deeply preoccupied with money, riches, name, fame, creature comforts, and such things. Bodily comforts. So, actions doing does not mean you are karma yogi. Pandit, it is true, sir. Going on a pilgrimage is like seeking diamonds and gems while discarding the precious stone that is worn by Narayana himself on his breast. So, some Shastra quotation he has given. Narayana is a Kaustuba Mani. So, going to pilgrimage is like searching diamonds and precious stones, but why you are forgetting the love of God? This is some Shastri quotation. Thakur, I want you to remember this. Understood? You are quoting, but do you remember that? You may impart thousands of instructions to people because of that shloka. Thakur has come back to that. But they will not bear fruit except in proper time, unless they do sadhana. On going, now that time it tells, awakening. On going to bed, a child said to his mother, Mother, please wake me up when I feel the call of nature. The mother said, Don't worry about it, my child. That call will wake you up itself. Allah, because of the example. One feels yearning for God at the proper time. So it requires an evolution. अरे तुम्हारे एक मदद चाहिए थी मुझे तो व्हाट्सएप पर आया उसको कैसे लाना मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा There are three classes of physician. Comprehensive. The physicians of one class feel the patient's pulse and go away merely prescribing medicine. As they leave the room, they simply ask the patient to take the medicine. They are the poorest class of physicians. Now, because of teaching people, he is telling this. You give a lecture and go away. That will not help. Likewise, there are teachers who only give instruction but do not stop to see whether their teachings have produced a good or bad effect. That is what is happening to us. They do not think at all about the disciple. There are physicians of another class who prescribe medicine and ask the patient to take it. If the patient is unwilling to follow their directions, they reason with him. They are the mediocre physicians. Mediocre here means the medium type, middle type. Mediocre means poor again. No, no, no. The middle type. Likewise, there are mediocre teachers. They give instruction to the student and further try to persuade him in various ways to follow the instruction. Lastly, there are the physicians of the highest class. If the patient does not respond to their gentle persuasion, they even exert force upon him if necessary. They press their knees on the patient's chest and force the medicine down his throat. Likewise, there are teachers of the highest class who even exert force to direct the mind of the pupil toward God. Absolute unselfishness is required, not force of will. Pandit, sir, if there are such superior teachers as you have described, then why should you say that one does not get the knowledge of God until the right time comes? If we get such a guru, master, you are right. But what will the physician do? Right means this calculation is all right. But what will the physician do if the medicine runs out of patient's mouth and doesn't reach his stomach? In such a case, even the best physicians can't do anything. So time is also a factor. Physicians are three types, but time also is a factor. The teacher should judge the fitness of the student before giving him instruction. But you don't discriminate in your instruction. Simply give a lecture and go away. When a young man comes to me for instruction, first of all, I ask him about his relatives at home. Suppose he has lost his father. Suppose his father has left some debts for him. How can such a person direct his mind to God? Are you listening to me? So you think that these things may not be followed by him. Pandit, yes, sir, I am paying attention to every word. Understood. Every word is very important here. Master, one day some Sikh soldiers came to the temple garden at Dakshineshwar. I met them in front of the Kali temple. One of them referred to God as very compassionate. Indeed, I said, is that true? But how do you know? He answered, because, sir, God gives us food and takes every care of us. I said, why should that surprise you? God is the father of us all. Who will look after the child if the father doesn't? Do you mean to say that the people of the neighboring village should look after the child? Narendra. Now the conversation is going on with that Pandit. But Narendra, then shouldn't we call God kind? Because Narendra from his childhood calls God kind and depends upon his mercy. Master, have I forbidden you to? He has not forbidden anybody to call God as kind. But calling God as kind is elementary. You should feel that you belong to God. And God does care. God has to take care of you. That is the important thing. What I mean is that God is our very own. He is not a stranger to us to show kindness. Pandit, priceless word. Yes. Master to Narendra. I listened to your singing, but I didn't enjoy it, so I left the room. Your mind is now set on seeking a job, and therefore your song sounded dull. So some part of the mind is going that side. Narendra flushed. He felt ashamed of himself and remained silent. Because that was the fact of life, what he could do. The master asked for a drink of water. A glass of water had been placed near him, but he could not take it. He asked for some fresh water. Later it was found that a man of immoral character had touched the first glass. This is described in great detail in Sri Ramakrishna, the great master. He asked for a glass of water. In natural course, he has talked so much. So the house people were giving. One man dressed as a great religious man. He intervened. He took that glass and gave to Thakur. And Thakur tried to lift, but he could not. Narendra was sitting near him. People thought that some fly or some dust might have fallen. But Narendra was very clear that nothing has fallen. And so it came to his mind that Thakur has said, if people show they are religious, but they are immoral inside, I cannot touch anything given by them. His mind and his body is a barometer. Narendra remembered that and thought that I must investigate this case to find if what Thakur says is really true. That day Thakur was pressing him, come with me to Dakshineshwar. But Swamiji said, I have some work in Calcutta. And he knew the younger brother of that man. So he asked him about any blemish in your elder brother. He said, how can I describe my elder brother's flaw? So Swamiji understood. And then he found from other people that, yes, he is at that time. And from Swami Vivekananda and others, Master Macha has heard it. Pandit, to Hazra, you live in his company day and night. You must be very happy. Master with a smile. This is indeed a great occasion for me. He ignores about that Hazra. Today I have seen the crescent moon of the second day of the bright fortnight. Allah. Do you know why I refer to the moon of the second day? Sita once said to Ravana, you are the full moon and Rama is the crescent moon of the second day of the bright fortnight. Ravana did not understand the meaning of these words. He thought Sita was flattering him and became exceedingly happy. But Sita meant that Ravana had reached the fullest limit of his power and prosperity and that thenceforth he would wane like the full moon. Rama, on the other hand, was like the moon of the second day. He would wax day by day. That is the meaning. Apparently, praising. The master was about to take his leave. So, he has talked so much to the Pandit, comprehensive. Because of that Pandit, we have got a comprehensive talk. All paths described. The Pandit and his friends bowed low before him. It was not yet dusk, and Sri Ramakrishna returned to Ishan's house with the devotees. We know that he had gone to the neighbor's house, now he has come back. The master took his seat in the drawing room with Ishan and his sons, a Pandit and a few devotees. That Pandit was brought to discuss with Thakur. Master, smiling to Ishan, so Ishan had not accompanied. I said to Pandit Shashadhar, Ishan's one son had gone. You have hardly set your foot on the tree, and yet you aspire to lay hold of a big bunch of fruit. First of all, practice some spiritual discipline, then you may reach others. You may teach others. Okay. Ishan, every preacher thinks that he enlightens others. The glowworm also may think that it illumines the world. Imagining this to be glowworm's feeling, someone said to it, "Oh glowworm, how can you bring light to the world? You only reveal the intensity of the darkness." So glowworm, what can see? That everything around is dark. That's all. We cannot read or write or any use of light. Light used to only show darkness. Master with a smile. But Shashadhar is not just a scholar. He also has a little discrimination and dispassion. That is first. Immediately Thakur observed that is why he has talked so much. A Pandit who was present said to Sri Ramakrishna, "You are indeed a great soul." Master, you may say that about sages like Narada, Prahlada or Shukadeva. I am like your son. Humility, because he sees God in everybody. Of course, in one sense, your words are true. It is said that in one respect, the devotee of God is greater than God himself. He is a very great man. Because he carries God in his heart, so that he accepts. All rejoice. It is said in the Vaishnava books, a devotee regards himself as a higher and God as a lower being. Yashoda, the mother of Krishna, was about to fetter Krishna, who was God incarnate, with chains. She believed that no one but herself could take care of Krishna. Sometimes God acts as the magnet and the devotee as the needle. God attracts the devotee to himself. Again, sometimes the devotee acts as the magnet and God as the needle. Such is the attraction of the devotee that God comes to him unable to resist his love. Say, Bhakta has love, God has more love. The master was about to leave for Dakshineshwar from Ishan's house. Ishan and the other devotees stood around him while he gave Ishan various words of advice. So he's talking to Ishan now. Huh? Master, a devotee who can call on God while living a householder's life is a hero indeed. God thinks, who has renounced the world for my sake will surely pray to me. He must serve me. Is there anything very remarkable about it? All the sannyasis have to remember this. People will cry shame on him if he fails to do so. But he is a blessed indeed who prays to me in the midst of his worldly duties. He is trying to find me, overcoming a great obstacle, pushing away as it were a huge block of stone weighing a ton. Such a man is a real hero. That is the encouragement to the householders and also to tell him that you must maintain that. Simply being householder will not do. Pandit, you are right, sir. The scripture says the same thing. So he tallies with the scriptures which he knows, and Thakur's every talk is scriptural only. There is in the Mahabharata the story of the pious hunter and the chaste woman. The stories are from that side to this, chaste woman and pious hunter. Pativrata Stri and Vyasa Gita. Swamiji has told us in Karma Yoga, what he is using now, Thakur is explaining here itself. Once a hermit was disturbed in his meditation by a crow. When he cast an angry glance at the bird, it was reduced to ashes. The hermit said to himself, I have destroyed the crow by a mere glance. I must have made great progress in spiritual life, gaining some power. One day he went to a woman's house to beg his food. She was devoted to her husband and served him day and night. She provided him with water to wash his feet and even dried them with her hair. The husband, when the hermit knocked at her door for alms, she was serving her husband and could not open the door at once. The hermit, in a fit of anger, began to curse her. The chaste woman answered from the inner apartment, I am not your crow. Wait a few minutes, sir. After finishing my service to my husband, I shall give you my attention. The hermit was very much surprised to find that this simple woman was aware of his having burned the crow in the ashes, crow to ashes. He wanted her to give him spiritual instruction. At her bidding, he went to the pious hunter at Benares. So she told, if you want to know more, she wanted to curb his ego still more and asked him to go to that hunter at Benares. This hunter sold meat, but he also served his parents day and night as embodiments of God. So the Karma Yogis combined with Bhakti Yogis are shown. The hermit said to himself in utter amazement, why, he is a butcher and a worldly man. How can he give me the knowledge of Brahman? But the hunter was a knower of Brahman and had acquired divine knowledge through the performance of his worldly duties. The hermit was illumined by the instruction of the pious hunter. So, to a person with faith, all these are applicable. The master was about to take, so he has accepted all that. The master was about to take his leave. He was standing at the door of the next house where Ishan's father-in-law lived. Ishan and the other devotees stood by the master. They were waiting to bid him goodbye. Sri Ramakrishna said to Ishan, live in the world like an ant. The world contains a mixture of truth and untruth, sugar and sand. Be an ant and take the sugar. Again, the world is a mixture of milk and water, the bliss of God consciousness and the pleasure of sense enjoyment. Be a swan and drink the milk, leaving the water aside. Live in the world like a water fowl. The water clings to the world, but the world shakes it off. Live in the world like a mud fish. The fish lives in the mud, but its skin is always bright and shiny. With several examples he is bringing home The world is indeed a mixture of truth and make-believe. Discard the make-believe and take the truth. Sri Ramakrishna got into the carriage and left for Dakshineshwar. Now the next chapter is also with Shashadhar. 25 chapter advice to Pandit Shashadhar, Monday, June 30, 1884. That was on 25th. This is on Dashami. Sri Ramakrishna was in his room sitting on a let it go. Let it go. Time is there, but that conversation was so comprehensive. And if something had remained, he had talked with Isha. So we'll take it up tomorrow. Om. Tava Kathāmritam tapta jivanam kavibhirīditam kalmashāpaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.